What's up everybody, it's your boy Hokage here, welcome to the video. Now, I had some personal problems going on. I mean, it's not like there were any problems, but like some responsibilities, right? I had some responsibilities and I just couldn't upload this review. This review was supposed to be out 2 days ago and, you know, I even announced it on YouTube and I apologize because of that, but, you know, I had some shit going on. And anyway, with that said, let's get into the review of episode 76. I really enjoyed this episode. I even watched it twice. So yeah, let's go. One thing that I really liked about this episode is the fact that the transitions between different scenes were done perfectly. And I'm referring to transitions between the Ryuchi cave, you know, thing that's going on, and, you know, the Hokage office, the Sakura scene with that, I think his name was Yurito, like, you know, the guy, like the traitor. I mean, it wasn't stated in this episode, but it's kind of obvious. Every time he was on screen, we would hear this weird soundtrack, this mysterious soundtrack, and also at one point in the episode, like his face, it was zoomed, like, and it's kind of obvious that he's the traitor, right? And I thought that, you know, these transitions were done really well. The entire episode has this mysterious, vibe around it. And as I said, I fucking enjoyed it. Now, at the start of this episode, there's like a little scene which I thought was, you know, pretty interesting. We see Boruto comparing this entire situation to a video game, basically. And then you have like Sarada commenting on his attitude. I thought that little scene right there was enjoyable. And after all of that, we get the new opening. I did a live reaction to the opening. And I did a live reaction to the new ending. At the end screen of this video, I'm going to have my live reaction to the 7th ending. And the reason why I'm, you know, having that as my end screen video and not the opening reaction is because in the ending 7 live reaction video, I have Boruto opening 4 live reaction at the end. So, like, when you finish this, you watch the ending live reaction and then the opening live reaction. Because if you go, like, hypothetically speaking, if you didn't see any of those 2 videos, if you go to Boruto opening 4 live reaction, you would manually have to go to ending 7 live reaction. And, like, this is kind of connected. But all of that is off topic. Let's fucking talk about the episode. And I should really stop, you know, shamelessly plugging my own videos, right? But if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it on your own channel, right? So it kind of makes sense. But anyway, going back to this episode, we get the 4th opening. I did a live reaction to it. I enjoyed it. I also enjoyed the new ending. And yeah, the episode continues, right? It was established that, you know, Boruto and his teammates need to get this reverse scale from this snake called Garriga. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Now, I'm gonna say like 2, not even theories, but like, you know, fan speculation. So the first theory is that this snake will become Boruto's summoning in the future. Why is that so? Well, if you guys saw, this snake pretty much lost its right eye, and we all know that Boruto has like a scar over his right eye. We saw it in the first episode of the Boruto series when a 16-year-old Boruto is fighting against Kawaki. So that could be some type of foreshadowing, and honestly, if Garriga really turns out to be Boruto's summoning, that's gonna be a very clever move from the writers of the Boruto series. And there's another theory, and I think that somebody said this in one of my previous videos, and the same person, I think, contacted me on Twitter over it. I mean, this person tweeted at me, so like this person is really confident about this, so I feel like I want to include it. I didn't think about this originally. I did think about the, you know, Garriga Boruto connection thing, but this is somebody else's. I don't remember the name, but basically, hypothetically speaking, if Sarada gets the Susanoo, it's probably gonna be like red / pink, and then this snake is like red, so she might get it. It's very far-fetched, but who knows? If Garriga really turns out to be Sarada summoning, this person is gonna feel like the smartest person in the world, right? So anyway, I just wanted to throw those 2 theories there. Now, the reason why I'm speculating so much and going off topic, I mean, what I said about Garriga and these 2 theories, it's not off topic, it's connected to this episode, but I'm not really analyzing the episode itself too much so far. It's because there isn't much to talk about when it comes to this episode. But despite that, the episode is great. It's just like, it's like the pacing was, it was fast, but in a good way, because sometimes when the pacing is like sometimes the pacing can feel rushed, and that wasn't the case here. I feel like this episode was fucking amazing. Every single episode of the Mitsuki arc was either great or perfect. The previous episode, that's the only questionable episode, and the one before, the one before, it just wasn't perfect, but it was still great. I remember I gave it 8 point something as my rating. I don't remember. But anyway, this episode is definitely gonna get more than 8.4 because it did everything it was supposed to be to do, and it did it in a nice way. Anyway, Boruto and his friends are searching for Garriga, and that's another good thing about this episode, the world building. I mean, it's kind of, this world building thing has been going on for the past couple of episodes, you know, in regards to the Ryuchi cave and this part of the ninja world, and I think so far it's done really, really well. You know, we're expanding our knowledge of, you know, the ninja world in the Boruto series. So yeah, after some time, you know, Boruto and his friends, they see Garriga, and basically Garriga was about to attack Sarada, and there's a very interesting scene where Sarada is literally looking at Garriga and she isn't doing anything. I remember that somebody complained how it was done for plot purposes and how she should have done something. I completely disagree with this. It's like she sees this fucking huge snake. Like, it's one of those situations where she could have died, and she was gonna die if it wasn't for Aoda, right? And like, it's not, I'm not saying that Sarada is weak, but like all of these children, they're still only genis. Nobody has like a super destructive jutsu which could defeat the snake. Like she could have, I guess, tried using fireball jutsu, but like at that moment, it's like, in that moment, it's only a couple of seconds. She's about to fucking die, and like, I just feel like it was normal. I respect Boruto for trying to fight against this fucking monster and the others, and you know, anyway, Aoda comes and he saves Sarada, and you know, so far the plot of the episode, it's really, really interesting. You know, seeing Aoda right there, it was a surprise. I don't remember if Aoda was shown in the 30-second preview clip we got at the end of the 75th episode. But like, excluding that, I don't know if he was shown. But anyway, it's a surprise seeing Aoda here. And you know, I just thought it was enjoyable, also nostalgic, because we you know, obviously saw Aoda in the Naruto series before. And yeah, I was just happy to see him again in this episode. And he basically saved Sarada. All of them pretty much ran away, and I don't know if it was at that point that the scene transitioned to where, you know, Shikamaru, Naruto, and Tsunade were talking, but somewhere there, we literally find out that Naruto's job was like, I don't want to say that he was gonna get fired from the Hokage position, but it was kind of mentioned by somebody in this episode that, yo, this is dangerous for your job, because you know, the whole situation when Mitsuki and Naruto not notifying enough people, and then you have the elders who are pissed about this, and Tsunade's role is to kind of talk to them to buy some time or whatever. And by the way, why the fuck do elders have such a fucking huge role? I mean, this doesn't contradict anything from Naruto. It was like this in Naruto as well, so I'm not taking any points away from the episode because of this, but I just feel like it's fucking frustrating. It's like, you have the fucking Hokage, you have his like I don't know, man, like, you see, I can't even talk because it's just fucking annoying. Why are these people fucking alive? Okay, that went deep quite quick, but anyway, let's just fucking forget about the elders. I just think they're frustrating, and that's it. But they're meant to be that way, so that things could kind of get complicated, which makes the plot a bit more interesting. Here, it's not a huge thing, but it's just a comment like, yo, Naruto's job was fucking questioned for a bit. And at one point in this episode, Shikamaru, he basically concluded that, you know, that Shikadai probably figured something out, and that he went. He even said that Mitsuki was potentially targeted. It was like a theory that he kind of, or like a hypothesis that he kind of mentioned. And what Shikamaru realized is that, well, he didn't realize it. He said it basically to Tsunade. He said that the secret about Mitsuki's birth, how he came to this world. And by the way, a couple of people know about that, but I think there's even a more deep truth about Mitsuki, because if you guys remember, Orochimaru mentioned when he was talking to Boruto that if the truth about Mitsuki gets revealed, he's gonna like automatically kill himself, he's gonna explode or whatever. I don't remember what he said. Now, some people said that he was kind of teasing Boruto. I don't know, I kind of disagree with this. But anyway, despite the fact that Naruto, Shikamaru, and a couple of other people know the quote-unquote truth about Mitsuki, I feel like it is the truth, but only like 50% of the entire truth. I feel like there's more to Mitsuki, which like nobody knows, nobody apart from Orochimaru and like a log or some shit like that. So yeah, but anyway, going back to Shikamaru, he says that basically it's a top class secret or whatever, and that only people who can enter the Hokage office or whatever could like see it, which kind of implies that if there's a traitor, he's probably gonna be some Jonin or some shit like that from the Hidden Leaf village. That Yurito guy, I don't know if he's a Jonin or a Chunin, but he's somewhere along those lines, right? And this is all, I mean, this is all a hypothesis by Shikamaru that Mitsuki was being targeted, right? We don't know, I mean, we do know that some people outside of village contacted Mitsuki, but maybe like, actually, I was gonna say that maybe they were in contact with Orochimaru, but that's not true, because first of all, Orochimaru was gonna somehow at least mention it when he got some screen time in one of the previous episodes, and plus the Yurito guy, he would kind of be irrelevant, because if they already have info on Mitsuki, like why would they need Yurito to say it? And maybe it was Yurito who took some info and spread it out, like, I don't know, maybe I'm talking too much right now, but like, I don't think that Orochimaru is necessarily directly involved within this. Like, there's still this huge mystery around Mitsuki and his departure and why he left, and the thing about his will, something that's very symbolic. It's probably it's gonna be resolved by the end of this arc. We'll see what Mitsuki decides to do. I mean, I do read the Boruto manga, so I know what's gonna happen. I know the final outcome. Like, the question is he gonna come back or not? I do know the answer to that question. I feel like 90% of you already know, but for the sake of these anime onlys, and even though they're a minority, I want to respect them. For the sake of them, I'm not gonna reveal anything, obviously, because I'm reviewing the 76th episode of the Boruto series. Anyway, we'll see exactly what Yurito did. It's gonna be interesting, and I wonder what his motives are, or whatever. But anyway, there's this conversation between Sarada and Aoda. She did kind of predict that, he was trying to save her. She was talking to him. There were a couple of small, funny moments when Boruto was commenting, saying stuff about Aoda and Aoda's, reaction to that. I thought that was hilarious. Boruto almost never disappoints with its small, subtle gag moments. And this has been going on like this throughout the series. One thing to mention is that the soundtrack was great in this episode, in my opinion, obviously. You guys know that animation and soundtrack, like these two things, they don't affect the episode ratings that I give at the end of my reviews. But from time to time, if animation is super good or super bad, I mention it. Or I mention the soundtrack if it's like super good. I'm not really, wording my thoughts in the most smart way. But yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. I feel like, the soundtrack enhanced my viewing experience when it comes to this episode. And I especially noticed this when I watched the episode for the second time, which was literally today. Obviously, I watched it for the first time a couple of days ago. But anyway, basically Sarada pretty much asks Aoda to help them. Aoda explains that, Garriga is this fucked up snake, that nobody talks to this snake. He's always nervous or whatever. And this begs the question, what happened to Garriga? What made him into what he is today? I really hope that we get some type of backstory. And also, I wonder how he lost his right eye. Anyway, after a couple of I guess, minutes, moments, whatever, Sarada successfully persuades Aoda to help herself and her friends, because she supposedly explained everything with Mitsuki and all that. And Aoda, he decides to help, but at one point he's like, what if Sasuke finds out about this? And by the way, I thought it was like super cute how a giant ass snake called Sarada-sama, or Lady Sarada. I thought, I just enjoyed that. And I like Aoda. He's a chill guy. Guy. He's a chill, not guy, but snake. If that makes sense. Anyway, they come up with this strategy to fight against Garriga or whatever. And, let's just fucking move on to the fight scene, right? The plan was pretty, I don't want to say simple, but it wasn't anything too complex. Inojin's role was to disable Garriga's Zai. Chocho was there to enhance her size or whatever. And then you had Shikadai, and then I guess at the end, Boruto and Sarada were supposed to take the reverse scale. But obviously it failed. And obviously Aoda was there. He bit Garriga. Now, that ability that Garriga displayed, that was fucking overpowered. I immediately had some Urashiki Otsutsuki vibes, because if you guys remember when Urashiki was fighting against Toneri, he did this weird thing and he basically froze Toneri forever. And obviously it's not the same thing, but I just, it was a similar scene because, as Toneri was being, that thing that Urashiki did, I don't remember what the name of it was, but Toneri just stopped and his body slowly turned into ice, and in this case it was the same, but Chocho's body slowly turned into like stone or whatever, rock, doesn't matter, a big rock. And that ability is overpowered. Like, if somebody gets the snake summoning, and if he kind of practices this technique with Garriga, and if they come up with like a strategy that would be successful against most opponents, they could be potentially really overpowered, because that was a really, really strong ability. Now, maybe if you're stronger, you can like stop the rock spreading over your body by doing something, or by releasing chakra or some shit. I don't know, because after all, Chocho is a Genin. She's strong, right? She's like above average for a Genin, but still, she's not super strong, right? So we know nothing about that, but it also makes me ask myself, what if Garriga has a lot more hex abilities? Maybe this is his ultimate move. I don't know. We'll see. Like, we don't even know how relevant Garriga is going to be in this series. He might just stay Garriga, a character that appeared for a couple of episodes. We don't even know if anybody's going to get a snake summoning apart from Mitsuki. But anyway, we'll see, right? Boruto and Sarada obviously failed. They couldn't get the reverse scale, and they're probably gonna get it by the end of the next episode. And the pacing of the Mitsuki arc, or Mitsuki retrieval arc, whatever, is gonna continue being perfect, because so far in this arc the pacing was almost flawless. It's not flawless mainly because of the last episode. Because the last episode, I believe that was episode 75, it felt really, really rushed, with all these tests that these snake girls gave to Boruto. So it was very rushed, and that episode wasn't great. Definitely wasn't great. It was below average for Boruto's standards. And anyway, obviously we're gonna see the continuation of this fight in the next episode. So to sum up my thoughts, I thought the pacing was great, I thought the soundtrack was great, the transitions between scenes were great, the tone, the mysterious tone of this episode, the characters, I enjoyed all of them basically. A nice strategic combat scene at the end of the episode. Again, as I said, not too complex, but still, it was nice seeing it. And all these factors contribute to the rating of this episode, which is 10 out of 10. Now, I don't know why I'm saying this right now, because I said it a couple of times in the past, and I feel like my audience is smart enough to already know this, but just in case, I like to say it from time to time. Despite the fact that this episode gets 10 out of 10 for me, doesn't mean that some episodes that have less than 10, this doesn't mean that I prefer this episode over some of those episodes. It's just that objectively, this episode, there's nothing wrong with it. So like, why would I take out any points? But maybe there was some, I mean, not maybe, but there definitely is. There's an episode, and there are multiple episodes in the Boruto series which had like I don't know, a small problem in the episode, and then because of that I need to take away 1 point. But maybe again, not maybe, but definitely I, for example, like that episode more than I do episode 76. But objectively, this episode was perfect for me. And you guys know that I tend to be as objective as possible in my reviews. Because if I was just being randomly subjective, every episode like that, I don't know, features some of my favorite characters or favorite fights would get a 10 out of 10 automatically. And this episode would, I don't know, get like a 7, 8 because, you know, it was cool, nothing too spectacular, right? But no, that's not how I do it. I try to be as objective as possible. I do have my unique objective, quote-unquote objective standards, which I use when I rate these episodes. For example, you guys know that I don't look at animation and soundtrack when I decide, you know, when I'm, you know, making decisions in regards to my episode rating. But some other stuff like, you know, characters, dialogue, stuff like that, it's much more important for me. Anyway, 10 out of 10 for me. That was your boy Hokage. It's for this going star in the description below. Also link to my second channel. Second channel will be in the description of this video. If you're new to this channel and if you're into the Boruto series, consider subscribing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.